Hello and welcome to Terrace Talk. We've got the same old face in Duncan. Max is back after a brief, shall we call it a summer holiday then?
Well, it wasn't a holiday.
He looked young enough to be on the school holidays, so yeah, it's fine. And then we've got after a post and pre-season hiatus, we've got Mark back. He's like, the football's kicked off, now I'm about to.
Now it's business time.
Exactly. Now, obviously, we are going to go over a few things. Now, we're going to try and stay away from the hot topic today on social media. Yeah, unfortunately, the Maxi is back, but it's not the Maxi we wanted back, though, Black Mamba.
What?
Now, I've got a question. I'm going to direct this to you, Mark, because we haven't seen you for a while. Have you been serving up quite a lot of humble pie since the start of the season?
Don't know what you mean. I'm a terrible cook. You don't want me to make you pie.
It might have something to do with a name of a cook. Yeah, we'll put this way. Has Gordon Ramsay been serving you a humble pie?
So yeah, we've exchanged a few messages about this off air. You know what? The most annoying thing is, I was just about coming around on Gordon, and then episodes 3 and 4 of the Amazon doc leak, and I watched them, and there's this whole bit where they're talking about do you sleep with one pillow or two, and Gordon was like adamant, like, you're sleeping with more than one pillow, that's mental, and I was like, done with this guy. I'm absolutely done, honestly. He was just starting to win us over, and then he comes out with this single pillow nonsense.
Posturally, it should only be one pillow.
Bollocks, man.
I can sometimes fall asleep with no pillows.
Oh, I can. I don't want to. But
Black Mamba's a 2-pillow man.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, anyone that sleeps with one pillow is a terrorist.
Oh shit!
I'm a 4-pillow man.
I'm a 3.
I guess you need to buy a new pillow then. So I have 2.
Yeah,
I only have 1.
Skimping on your pillows, man.
I go completely the other way. I go 2 on the left, 2 on the right. So that when you wake up at 2 in the morning, if you go over this way, you got 2 pillows. If you wake up at 4 in the morning, you go that way, you got 2 pillows that way. So I'm a 4-pillow man, and then 2 pillow behind my head. But
you've always got a cold pillow to roll on to.
Exactly.
Oh, see, that's another thing. You've got to have a cold pillow, haven't you?
100%. Yeah. How the hell have we ended up on pillow talk? I do apologise. Anthony Gordon. Yeah, it turns out he's a canny player. Well, at least on the evidence of the Aston Villa game and all of pre-season. I've never been happier to be
wrong.
You
know what? I'm going to defend him. I don't care whether or not he got the yellow cards on Saturday. At least he was actually showing some desire and some fight. Yeah. In that.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think he was poor against City, but he had nobody helping him out whatsoever. Dan Burn wasn't exactly helping him a lot. Joe Linton was Joe Linton carrying an injury? I read somewhere he was actually carrying an injury for the game. I don't know how true that is.
I think he was, because he actually came off with an injury. So
yeah,
he didn't seem right. That's the thing.
I would also say I think City did just a really good job of keeping Joe Linton quiet and basically marking him out of the game.
Well, you look at Pep's comments after the game. He says, we changed the style that we play because of that. And I'm like, look, you listen to that and you're going, hang on. This is Pep Guardiola saying, do you know what? I actually had to change the way that we play for Newcastle United. Tells you more that you need to know now.
It was weird watching the game because they were clearly playing like 10 yards further back than they normally do. And it was just bizarre watching City play that way.
That's the thing, especially once they went 1-0 up, it was a case there. But the fact is, and this is the thing, well, that's it. We'll get on to it now because obviously it is something that we were going to discuss, but we'll discuss it now. And that's obviously looking back at the game, which is obviously, we need to remember our last few visits to the Etihad were 5-0 and 2-0. I don't want to remember the 5-0 because I was there for the 5-0 one, and I didn't, and I just want to make that from my memory because it was poor. 2-0 again, we got better, but look, this is 1-0. This is against a team that has Erling Haaland in that had Philip Foden that was a man possessed in that game. I thought
They had Erling Haaland based on Saturday's game.
Yeah, Guardiola as well. He looked fairly decent in that sense. But again, like I said, this is the treble winners, which they like to remind us, just before kick off. Let's bring over these 3 trophies. Let's intimidate Newcastle. Yeah, look what
they need some lessons from war flags. By the way, everybody knows that you put a banner up from the bottom up. They tried to release these banners going down, and it just wasn't happening. Like,
yeah, because then also to get them like away, it's easier to go down.
Exactly.
Back down again. But now, they'll learn. Yeah, there's some things that they can learn from us. But the fact that we were still even in the game when it got to like the extra time of like the second half is something that we should be playing. There's not many teams that are going to go to the Etihad and keep City down to 1-0 and still be in the game come like the 90th minute. I'm going to be confident on that.
I would agree.
Yeah.
There's no shame in losing 1-0 to Man City at the Etihad. Is it disappointing? Well, of course it is, because any loss is disappointing, and I think we all expected we might put in a bit more of a performance.
The only thing which I am going to say is that chance that Callum Wilson had.
Yeah.
If it had been Isak, it would have been finished.
I think so too.
I mean, as in there would have been a chance cut off, not as in but it wouldn't. The chance wouldn't have happened. No, I just think because Callum Wilson's great, and I'm not, it's great that I just think he's maybe not got that yard of pace that Isak has, and that's why I'm saying if it had been Isak that had been on there. Actually, I felt sorry for him because he wasn't really getting much, because he was really like the lone up there, but there's not much, Like I said, I'm not going to criticise that. One, we absolutely blew Villa away, and then you look at what they've just done to Everton.
Oh, yeah.
So by virtue, we should be beating Everton about 9-0.
That could happen. I mean, they are awful. Absolutely awful.
So you look at that, and then you look and go, right, okay, but would you have been, this is the honest, after the first 2 opening games, would you have been happy with a point? At the start of the season, if you thought Villa at home, Man City away, I'd take a point. Yeah,
I wouldn't have been happy, but I would have understood.
You would have been
1
point.
Point. Yeah.
You wouldn't have been unhappy with the point, because you would have went, look, Villa's a decent side, which they are.
100%.
We didn't make them look that, but they are.
They'll competently beat a lot of teams this season, and Everton is very much an extreme example, but because they're god awful, but they'll beat a lot of average teams handsomely this season, Villa.
Exactly. Funny enough, we brought Max on the for the one game that Isak didn't exactly have his best performance. So, Max, the floor is yours.
No, it was a tough game. I think you have to remember also that Guardiola's had almost 8 years to shape this whole club and team to his will, and you can see that difference. I mean, Eddie Howe is just in his second full season for us, so there's some way to go, and I still think we were competing with them in the highest level. Maybe they were tactically a bit better, but they also invested like 500 million more, at least, if not more, probably a lot more than us. So, I mean, it's a growing process, and I was happy. Just going there and not get beat 4-0 was a positive for me. Even though I'd also like to see us push them a bit more in our way, in the pressing way, but I also understand that you have to be a bit more cautious when playing against these teams, especially away from home. But I don't know why everyone got so upset over this game. I thought it was a tough game, tough result. It was decided on individual brilliance from Alvarez and Foden, and we move on to Liverpool this weekend.
Oh, I agree. I actually thought it was great play by Foden and a cracking finish by Alvarez. I looked at that and thought, not really a lot that you can do with that. Yeah, maybe we could have closed them down a bit, but you just look at that and go, there's not really much you can do with that. That's just sort of like pure class from their side, and that's what.
Foden. He's every time he plays us, honestly.
Oh, he was honestly that like I was so impressed with him. I'm like, do you know what? he was honestly outstanding. I'm like, do you know what? You might have just said to Pep, yeah, you don't need to worry about Kevin De Bruyne. I'm here to take his place. And he did like that role quite well. But I also think, just a little bit of a heads up to the man who's coming up to see James Park this Sunday. That's how you react when you're facing a team like Newcastle. You don't whinge, you don't complain, you don't try and be like he is. What Pep did, the way he spoke before the game and then the way he spoke after, it was just pure class. I loved his bit before the game when he was on about all those people having a go about Saudi Arabia buying a football club, and then they're so against it. But then when the Saudi Arabian teams are coming to buy the players, come here, come on, we'll sell you the lot. I just thought, bravo, Pep, bravo, well done.
Yeah, Pep's been annoyingly likable recently. As a man that I enjoy hating, it's difficult to carry that on. I do think, to a degree, he's sort of, I don't know what's the word. He's not humoring us, but you know what I mean. He's like, yeah, I think he's leaning into it. He doesn't talk up opponents that he actually sees as a real serious threat to be a title challenge. I think he sees our style of play as a threat to them when we play them, but he clearly doesn't see us as a title challenge. Otherwise, he wouldn't talk us up. But fair play to him. You know, he's been honest about it. I do like that he pointed out the hypocrisy about people selling all their players to Saudi and all that and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, good on him.
That was the part which I liked, where he was like, well, hang on. So you can criticise the Saudis for buying Newcastle, but then as soon as you're wanting to get rid of your deadwood, it's like,
right.
Come on, take what you want, Take, to be fair, he couldn't really be critical of Saudi Arabia, considering he's now looking to sell there. Well, we had Marvis went over there, now is it Amaric Laporte's going over there?
Can't believe that. What a waste of talent that is.
Yeah. Did anyone see the ticket officer in Manchester giving him a parking ticket on his Lamborghini?
And
then ticket attendant went, "Can I have a picture?" He went, "Yeah, you can have a picture, but it'll cost you 60 quid."
That's sharp. I like that. I like
him even more now.
He stuck it on, and then as he's taking it off, he went, "Oh, can I have a picture?" He went, "You can have a picture, but it will cost you £60."
Where's he from?
India.
Famously.
I was going to say that certainly wasn't Spanish.
Mark, my Spanish is top notch.
Oh, well, we'll move away from the defeat. Well, the defeat, because one, I still think it was expected. I just think a lot of fans probably went into we're going to beat them.
I just think, just very, very, very quickly, I think the one thing worth touching on, because Max briefly mentioned it, that some people have been, let's be honest, losing their minds a little bit on certain social media platforms about the result. Not necessarily about the result, about the performance. I think the thing that really put it into context for me, because I was quite disappointed in the performance in the immediate aftermath of the game.
Yeah.
And the thing that put it into context for me is I think every side in the top 7 last season that went to Man City, that they basically got rolled over. I think all of them, apart from us, actually conceded 3 goals.
Yeah, that's true.
At the Etihad, like every game practically that City play at home is just like it's just an absolute mauling. So
I'm also sure, wasn't there a stat of there's only 2 times Erling Haaland has failed to score there he had, and both of those times were
when
the 2-0 defeat to Newcastle and the 1-0 defeat to Newcastle. So
we
know
when
how
he's
to
been
keep
on the
Erling
field
Haaland
90 minutes.
quiet, we just can't keep the rest of them quiet.
It's Phil Bastard Foden.
Yeah.
Now, I'll see what we'll do is the news that was broke this morning. He's not a local lad, but he is one of us. Yeah, he's dream come true. Lewis Hall, his dad's a Geordie, his brother supports the Toon, and he supports the Toon. We've waited a long time for it to be announced because Christ knows it looks as if he was in here weeks ago.
I forgot it wasn't
exactly. But no, it's a great one. Although I do like the Chelsea wording. It's an option based on certain performance metrics, whereas Newcastle have went, it's an obligation.
Yeah.
Basically,
yeah.
he's got to play one game or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that would
But
be
no-
obligation to buy.
But I know a lot of people say, no, it's a lot of money for an 18-year-old. I don't know whether or not who was on here when I was when I've been speaking previously, but people may remember I did mention him as a name for left back when we were looking at signings, and a lot of people kept quiet.
I'm really excited by this signing, to be honest. I know some people have been a bit like, subdued about it, but I think this kid is fucking great, to be honest. Now, admittedly, look, we've got a really, really small data set that we're playing with here. I think he's had 9 games, first team games for Chelsea. But in those games, he looked phenomenal. He's in most of the games I saw Chelsea play when he was on the pitch, he was their best player, which I realise isn't saying much for a bottom 10 club. But nevertheless, can't argue with facts. But he really does have a lot going for him. I think his composure on the ball is impressive. His ability to glide past players is impressive, and the fact that he's 18 as well means he could be here for years to come. And it only just dawned on me today when we signed him. It's like his dad and his mum have done a bloody good job of getting him and his brother to support Newcastle, because this kid's 18 years old. He's never known Newcastle be good. In his entire lifetime, Newcastle have been dog shit until like 18 months ago. So great. Yeah, basically they've brought him
But
up
also
well.
in this window, we've signed 2 top class Chelsea Academy graduates.
Yeah. I mean,
in Tino Livramento. And this is the thing: Tino Livramento, 20, Sven Botman, 23, Lewis Hall, 18. We're a young right-sided centre back, away from having a very young and talented back four that could grow for years and years and to be together for years and years. And you then look at the likes of Harvey Barnes we're bringing in, Anthony Gordon, Bruno to that extent. We are bringing in young talent. Lewis Miley, Christ, when we're looking at that even. Eddie Howe's bringing in young talent. That's good. That I think he knows he can work with and grow. And you think, well, hang on, if you can make Lewis Hall better, win for a hell of a player.
I mean, I could be getting ahead of myself, but when you look at Livramento and Hall, like, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that in, say, 3 to 4 years' time, we could be looking at the first choice England right back and left back, both playing for Newcastle United, that Chelsea have just lost because of a mad transfer policy, essentially.
But Chelsea seem to do that. They lost
Kevin
De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne and Mo Salah both were on their books. There's countless examples. So, which, to be honest, just maybe is more evidence piling on the fact that these 2 lads are going to be England starters in the future. Who knows? But I mean, it's a very exciting prospect, nevertheless.
It is, and I said that it's great when you're looking at it. And primarily, other than Tonali, we've signed young English talent. Harvey Barnes, Tino Livramento, even though Livramento sounds quite Spanish, and then obviously Lewis Hall. We went try and tested. These are Premier League players. They've got Tino Livramento, although he's young, has still got Premier League experience. Lewis Hall, I think, is going to come into it. He might not necessarily start straight away, but I think he's the one that's going to come in and learn and do that. And then obviously you've got Harvey Barnes, who's just Harvey Barnes. I going back to the match, I actually loved the fact that we put Harvey Barnes on because Anthony Gordon was on a yellow, and the first thing Harvey Barnes did was get a yellow.
Yeah. By the way, that ref, shocking. The number of yellows handed out in that game was ridiculous. I mean, it's not like we were hoofing them or anything like that. It was a fairly clean game, and we came away with so many yellow cards. It was an absolute joke.
7 against 1, if I remember.
Was it 7? That is outrageous. I mean, absolutely outrageous.
I think it was a little more fairly distributed, if I remember. I'm not too sure.
No, it was 7 against 1.
The refs are going to have to calm the fuck down this season, because if they keep doling out yellow cards at the rate that they are, it's just going to become an absolute farce.
Well, you look at last night, Tomiyasu got a second yellow for that, and when you look back at it, you're going, that wasn't a yellow.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just their flavor of the month thing that they're doing to try and stamp their authority on things, and then it
Well,
calms
what
down a
annoys
bit.
me is the fact that players are given a yellow card for doing like the yellow card symbol. No, how about just have a word with them and go, look, calm down. If you do that anymore, you're gonna be getting a yellow.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
have a
agree.
word first, you calm down. But this is my point though. If the refs were good enough in doing the jobs, the players wouldn't be having to have a go at them. The managers wouldn't be having to have a go at them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're coming up with disciplinary rules to mitigate the fact that the referees are awful,
Exactly.
which is not a
Gary
great
O'Neill-
situation to be
no,
in.
Gary O'Neill got a yellow at Old Trafford for being upset at the fact that his side didn't get a penalty.
Well,
And then less than half an hour after it, someone within PGMOL went down and said, actually, do you know what, we're sorry, it should have been a penalty.
to be honest, he was getting upset. He was getting upset at common assault. Never mind a penalty decision. He could have legitimately phoned the police. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. What
I know, but
did.
you understand that, and you're going, well, right. Well, if you've admitted that that's a mistake, then why don't you say, well, look, I'm actually going to take the yellow card away? They can't because there's no rules within the FA to do that. But you just thinking these sort of things should be happening. It's like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, some of the
there's no
the things
rule
that
by
are
choice
happening.
and by design, and that's what makes me sick about it. They're quite happy to change the rules to go, oh, you're only allowed one person at a time in the technical box, but we can't make common sense rule changes that everybody wants.
Exactly. Just the other thing, obviously, and this has just come from the fact that obviously Liverpool, again, the VAR pool have managed to get the red card overturned. I might be one of the ones that don't necessarily agree with everyone else, but I still think that could have been a red. Whilst there might not have been the force into it, the studs were showing and the foot was high. Now it just hit the ankle based on where the other player had his foot up to. Imagine if his foot had been on the floor.
I don't think it is a red, but it's by no means the most ludicrous red that we've seen. Not even close.
No,
I can
but
see
the
there's
fact
an
that
argument
VAR's
for.
looked at it and they didn't deem it to be clear and obvious.
Yeah.
Then, for me, that's where it's a case. The fact that you've got VAR, why should you then be able to? This is where my rule is. You've got VAR, so VAR should rule out the ability to appeal red cards then. Because that means you've then had two different eyes looking at it. But what someone said is you need to get rid of the clear and obvious aspect of it. If that other referee thinks, actually, do you know what? I think you may have got it wrong here. Go and have a look. Because this is the thing, they're talking about re-refereeing the games, but it's just the referee going over and going, actually, do you know what? I've actually got a clearer view. Now, I think which game was it? In fact, I think it was actually the Women's World Cup final. Yeah, the handball that was given. But if you look at the replays, every time that it was done via the VAR, the referee was looking directly at it. So basically, the referee's looking at a view where she's in it, she's looking right at that handball, but then doing it again, then going, well, actually, do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to give it this time. I'm going, well, this is the problem where you're looking at, you're going, the referee probably feels that they need to change it because there's another referee telling them that they need to. And it's a case of, like penalties as well. Yeah, when you look, and this is my thing though, if what McAllister did was a red, then I think what Emmy Martinez did was a red.
Yeah, I can't even be bothered to go over how ludicrous the Emmy Martinez decision was.
Exactly, but yeah, we didn't.
Sorry, I
we didn't need it to be sent off.
Well, no, I was just thinking about Lewis Hall. Because I remember I actually watched him live when he played against us. Chelsea played against us.
Yes, you were at that game.
Yeah. So, and I thought he was quite good, and I'm excited to see more of him playing for us. And I'm also excited to see a left back who can, in all credit to Dan Burn, he's a really good defender, but God, I miss someone who can overlap and put in a good cross and has some technical skill about him. Dan Burn is a center back, in my opinion, and we need a good left back, and now we have it. Hopefully, he can get integrated into the squad quickly and learn our style of play.
Yeah, Dan
Okay.
Burns had to cover left back and learn how to be a left back.
Yeah,
because
so-
of the situations that we've had. But
And he's done a great job, and I don't say
Yeah.
it's been bad, but it's just he's not a left back; he's a centre back. That's
no, I
just-
agree with that, and I think even Dan Burn would probably be a little bit pleased to go, thank Christ, I don't need to try and get myself forward as much.
Yeah,
He's going, Christ, I'm knackered,
Don't-
man, I'm
don't need
knackered.
to run as much.
Next thing which we're going to move on to, and this is something that we're going to look at, because thanks to someone at Amazon being a bit too trigger happy, we all
Have you
found
seen-
out on Saturday before the game.
It's probably a Toon fan, let's be honest.
And that is the news that Adidas will be returning and will be reuniting with Newcastle United. It'll be a campaign that's been long in the fight of some Newcastle fans. Whether or not all Newcastle fans are happy, I know there's probably one on here that's maybe not too happy about it. What's your thoughts on? We'll go with you, Duncan, first.
So my thoughts are, I don't know what the problem is with Castor. I think they're a British brand. They produce really good quality stuff. They make England cricket.
Debatable.
You know, the stuff is really good. I don't understand why you go to why you would go and start pulling the party poppers, going, we've got Adidas, when they're basically a Chinese company that will just mass produce stuff.
I think you'll find the
I
German.
really, yeah, they are a German company, but they don't make their stuff in fucking Munich, do they?
No, like every other
Right.
clothing company.
So- But
Right, but that
Castor-
doesn't make them a Chinese company,
Yeah,
though.
But Castor was an ex-English cricketer from
That's a point.
Lancashire.
You're saying it's an English company, Castor. Do you think Castor make all their stuff in the UK?
No, of course they don't. Of course they don't. But I just think Castor had a much more British-based story behind it. And whether you like them or not, I generally think that the stuff they make and the stuff they produce, and I've bought loads of it, thousands of pounds worth of it, I think it's really good stuff. And yes, I like Adidas. Yes, I like Adidas. But I just feel it's maybe a little bit of a, it loses the personability of it. Like, it's just, I don't know.
What was that word you were trying to say?
Personability of it.
Personability.
That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, I think it loses that. I
I
just
thought
think
Max was the one that had language issues, yeah, but
from Essex. Yeah, I just think it loses a little bit of that. I don't have a problem with Adidas. Don't have a problem with Castor. I just think, what's the problem with having a British-based company producing your kit that is not Adidas or Nike?
no, there's
know.
nothing wrong with it. I just think Castor have tried to go too big and too fast, and they've been found out. Now, I also
think it's the other way round. I think it's the other way round. I think Newcastle have gone too big and too fast, and they weren't expecting it.
Well, no,
Isn't
but-
it just a commercial thing?
No, but at the time
Yeah.
when we signed the deal with Castor, it was Newcastle only. Castor only had Newcastle and Rangers. They then went and signed Wolves. They then went and signed Aston Villa. They went over to Sevilla in Spain. They went over other places.
Yeah.
So they went in
England
McLaren.
cricket,
McLaren.
McLaren.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. They've tried to push hard and push fast. Now, I think this news, which is leaked, I think this has played into the stock issues that we've been finding this season, where a lot of fans are waiting longer. Because I think Castor have turned around and put two fingers up with Newcastle and went, well, if you're replacing us next season, we're not going to prioritise your orders. We're going to prioritise the orders for like Wolves and Aston Villa fans, where we've maybe got a longer term commitment from them, and Jews will have to wait until we're ready to fulfil those orders.
I think that's probably true, and I also think there's even more to it than that, because you're in this ludicrous situation where sometimes our own official club shop is the last to get stock of their own gear. Like JD
Right.
Sports are getting stock in of
So see this.
stuff before.
See this, Mark. This is a pro shirt. I had to wait 8 weeks to get this from Newcastle United. JD Sports had it.
Yeah.
Long before Newcastle United.
Yeah, like what is that about? That is bizarre. So there's obviously some sort of communication breakdown. I don't know. I mean,
because JD might actually have a contract with Castore.
They might.
Beyond the
they
line.
might.
Now I will say the club shop is probably a Castore store, so it's Castore themselves store, but it's probably.
My mum did put these on there. I couldn't wait 2 hours in line, so I said, "Just give me the badges. I'll take it home and get my mum to do it."
I'm still asking the question of why they're not be put on there because most fans probably want them anyway. But Mamba does make a good point with the Adidas one. If that gives us, let's say, another 20 or 30 million a season,
100%,
in the revenue aspect of
agree
it,
with that.
That's the main factor, probably the commercial.
I think it's the main fact. Like Castore's got a few things going against it here. That's probably the biggest one, right? Castore now pay us 5 million a season. Adidas are probably going to pay us somewhere between 30 and 40.
My understanding, though, on the Castore deal was it was a lower amount, as in the fixed amount of 5 million, but we got a higher percentage of the profits from every shirt sold.
But they're not making enough shirts to keep up with demand.
Well, exactly, and that feeds into the argument over this because they're going, well, hang on, if we're getting even less profits than we do of, let's say, the world one, it's the reason behind it. But with Adidas, I know you've got a clothing brand that has the chain, like the supply chain, to be able to produce on mass and cope with the demand of Newcastle United. We're probably going to be up there with one of the top levels in terms of maybe not the elite, but maybe like the premium brands that Adidas are going to work with. You then look at other things that we may be able to do. There's just so much that we could probably look at with Adidas and that. And to be fair, and I will probably stick up with Castore. I've actually looked back at some of the designs that we had with Adidas, and you're like, more so in the later years, you're going,
it'll follow Man United by Munich. That's the trend.
Because I'm not being funny. Was it not Adidas that were to blame for the banana kit?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
No, our banana kit.
No. You mean the stick of rock? Yeah,
the banana and custard.
One. Yeah, rhubarb and custard one. Yeah, it was. I think it was them. If it wasn't them, it was Puma. But I think it was still Adidas at the time.
That was my thing, because I'm sure we had the yellow and then we had the blue and black one.
Yes,
I think we're both Adidas on there. So.
I think that's a good point, actually, because everyone remembers the classic kits because, my God, they were absolutely gorgeous and we were playing sumptuous football at the time, but there were some really fucking awful ones in there as well.
I think
other than Castore's first home kit where they got the collar wrong, where they played the number 4, they've hit the mark. This season's home kit is just
this one's
spectacular.
Bloody great. This one, look at this.
I just think all of the Castore designs are absolutely gorgeous, to be honest.
Not only is this the most
last season's
iconic kit ever.
Nice.
Like, we got to a cup final with this kit. I've ordered some Carabao Cup badges put on the sleeve, but this is the most iconic kit.
Honestly, I like that. Like, I love this season's just that little.
It's just because of the sponsor.
Yeah, it probably is because the sponsor's not as overstated in that. I just love it. I love the green version that we've got this year as well, and I loved it.
They're
I'm not on board. I'm not on board with this Castore bashing. I'm not on board with it.
Oh no!
I think they make nice stuff.
Design-wise, that's where I think they excel. If you could have Castore's design, but Adidas's manufacturing and marketing capabilities, you'd have a match made in heaven.
I think their design and their quality is what shines through. I think the problems that they've got is obviously, as we've touched upon, actually being able to produce enough of these things.
Yeah.
And also, when they do fuck up, they're really bad, obvious fuck ups, like putting the wrong badges on people's shirts. There's somewhere the sponsor's been upside down and things like that. So it's like,
Mark, what I'd also say,
sending jackets which are like have a Wolves badge but a Rangers zip.
But what I'd also say is there's a lot of fans, right, that claim to be Newcastle diehard that will go to DH Gate and fuck Newcastle over and buy a fucking hooky little top. I've got no time for that. Like, if you're going to buy a fucking fake top,
I'm not going to
And-
criticise fans who will go. No, I'm not, and that's it. I am not going to criticise fans who go to DHgate because they can get a Newcastle top for £12.
But that's
Because
wrong.
some fans,
That is
right,
wrong.
but some fans can't afford to pay 70. No,
Yeah, but don't fucking moan
just
about
because
it.
you
when
know,
get-
just because you've got money, and I'll call you out on it, because you've got the money and it's not an issue for you. But some fans don't. So I'm not going to criticise a Newcastle United fan who maybe does have a season ticket and does go and pays and attends games, stuff like that. If they want to wear Newcastle's club kit, but they haven't got the amount of £70 to fork out, I do not have a problem if they feel it is more cost effective for them to still be able to buy a kit that looks as if they're supporting their team, but is more cost effective for them.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest, I don't think I could justify £70 for a home kit,
No.
and that's me being serious. I just think that's too much. So I'm
Yeah,
not going to criticise
I do
a
feel-
Newcastle fan.
It's the one time where I feel quite lucky that like I never buy these things because I don't really ever wear t-shirts. So like I would, I would if I could buy one, but I'd never actually wear it, which removes the decision for me, which is quite nice because they are bloody expensive.
So are you wanting them and maybe make it into like a proper like dress shirt type of design for you,
Like
just
a
so you can then
button
wear
down
it?
shirt. Yeah, I only wear button down shirts. I don't like t-shirts. I don't find them comfortable. So
Mark,
I want them to
buy,
start
like,
stocking Yassier's jacket, you know, with the Newcastle
on
the lining inside.
inside. Yeah.
So I really like the training stuff, and I normally only buy like the pro shirts because I just think they fit a lot better. But like Mark said, I can afford it, but I don't like, people who go on DHgate and then say, "Oh, I've got this, that." You're taking money off the club, and we won't. Mark, sit down. We're not going to go on to this, but I'm a season ticket holder, and you got people buying DHgate hooky tops, but I'm being made out to be a criminal if I pass my ticket on less than
No, you're not. No,
59% of the time. It's like, oh, hang on a minute.
If you're made to feel a criminal, then you must have something to feel guilty about. To be but no,
no.
But this is the thing: is people go to DHgate and they'll pay maybe 15, 20 quid for a top. That's fine.
Yeah.
They will accept to see errors in that because they're paying 15, 20 quid.
I don't mind that.
What you don't expect is to see shoddy stitching, errors and mistakes on a piece of garment that you're paying £70 for.
I don't mind that, Mark. My point was about
Well, you do mind that because you've been calling them out.
It's about the whole season ticket thing. About if you don't go to 60% of the games, we might take our season ticket off you.
Oh, we're not going on to that. That's it. Max, put it this way, would you pay £70 for a top?
Well, I have a number of times, but
Would you pay £115 for a top?
But if you could get the top at, let's say, DHgate for £20, would you go there?
No
Yeah,
way.
probably would.
No.
Because I'm
Never
studying.
been.
Oh, Max, you've gone down.
No, but I'm studying now, so I need to keep my finances a bit more.
I'll buy
tight.
your top. Right, put your wallet
All right,
away. I'll
thank
get your
you.
top.
Thank you.
Go on.
I'll take it.
Do you want a pro shirt? Or?
Yeah, pro shirt, please.
Mark said he'll wear a shirt if you're buying it for him as well now.
I've got your postcode. It's coming in. Don't worry,
Yeah.
it's coming
I
in.
want Emil Kraft on the back. I don't have him.
Oh, love it. Yeah, not exact.
Oh,
That's
look at you,
system.
yeah, you're Isak lover, and now you're going to a meal craft. Yeah, look at you.
You gotta
Fickle.
give your love to both.
Isak has one bad game, and you're just disowning him.
Kraft he's been injured for like a whole year. He needs some
What
love.
do you mean has been? He still is injured for Christ's
Yeah,
sake.
exactly. So
Lads, you're all missing the most important point here, which is you're blowing your monetary load too early because Adidas are probably going to release some kick-ass old replica kits in the next couple of weeks. You need to save some money for those.
yeah, that's true.
The amount of like training kit. I've got a Castor cricket bag that I take on holiday because it's massive. It's like 6 foot long. I've got so much Castor stuff to the point of I was going to try and take like the cast off label, not the cast, the Fun 8 label off of the stuff I've got, so it's still Castor. But if next season, if they bin Castor off completely, then I'm fucked. Like I've got to start again. Just stick it all in the bin and start again, isn't it?
Oh no.
Well, as you mentioned, you've got the money, so you can afford to bin them off and go all the Adidas stuff.
I like this stuff though. This looks great.
No,
Doesn't it?
I'm not criticizing. Like I said, the design aspect and that what they've done this season has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree.
But I just think I think
Just
a
stick
couple
it-
of them have made the decision based on probably a lot of stuff that's happened in the summer season where we were maybe looking at issues with stock and supply. That blows up the case. I think it's also been known as Noon, obviously the Amazon of the Middle East. They've been trying to get stock to put in their store, but they've not been able to. Again, probably shows the reason why. But that'll be fixed if you've got someone like Adidas. Now, Noon working with Adidas, that'd be great. And then you can have Noon, and Noon will want to be like the main supply chain in the Middle East for Newcastle shirts. And that's where I think. Now, I'm sure, don't get me wrong, but isn't on Adidas also in discussions about becoming the kit manufacturer for the Saudi Arabian national team?
I think they already are.
Yeah, I was going to say, no doubt. I think they're
I thought it
Nike
was
at the
Nike.
minute, but yeah.
But if
I think
Adidas
they're
do
Nike.
that, then you think Adidas have then just won. They've got two major markets into the...
They've locked up that market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing when you look at that, and that's where I think Adidas are probably a lot better. Now, they've also probably got a lot better marketing strategy to be able to sell, to have Mickey up on billboards in wearing Adidas stuff. Yeah, Bruno or Joe Linton or whatever, Tonali, Hashtag table for Tonali, I'm not being funny. I think Wetherspoons needs to be the season sponsor for Tonali for the rest, because the marketing they've had of him has just been... that Wetherspoons in Gosford is going to be the busiest ever.
Who sent Tonali to Wetherspoons?
I'm still going to say it's Jacob. I think it's Jacob.
He's a joke.
Hang on.
Funny enough, I love the fact that Eddie Howe was like, I don't know why Matt Ritchie's getting on the stick for this.
Yeah, it was
probably Paul Douglas.
It was Keith Downey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith Downey would just basically accused Matt Ritchie, and it was just like, where's that come from? He's like, well, I've got no evidence for it, but where the smoke, it's Matt Ritchie apparently.
And I also loved it when he was asked about the fan who's got Eddie Howe's face, and he went, "Lucky fella."
Yeah.
That's what I just love with Eddie Howe.
Have they released episode 3 and 4 for you guys in the Amazon documentary?
They accidentally released them.
Episode 2.
Yes.
But they took them off.
Okay, it's because
I downloaded them before. I downloaded them to my iPad because I had a suspicion that they probably had accidentally released them. So I thought, I know on your iPad you can download for if you're going on a plane or something.
Yeah.
I did that. So I
downloaded
them
on my phone just because I was at work at that point, and I was like, well, I haven't got really time to watch them, but I'll download them.
Okay.
I do know that they've also, I think the first 2 episodes are probably now available worldwide, because I know it was only the UK and Nordic regions.
Yeah, I've seen them.
So no matter where you are in the world, whether or not it's Saudi Arabia or Australia or America or whatever, you can now watch it.
Yeah.
And you can be just as tearful as us, when you're looking back and you're going, I remember that. I remember Trafalgar Square.
That was painful.
It was. I did find it bizarre watching the whole Adidas negotiations though, because it's like, well, obviously they're not doing this season's shirt because we've got this season's shirts. So it's like they're probably coming in next season. They must be doing next season's shirts. So this is going to be a long lead up, like a really long lead
it's
up.
Gonna be
but they did similar. No, but they did similar with Arsenal. I think so when we tweeted it, there was an announcement on the 1st of October with Arsenal about a deal with Adidas. So I think it was along those lines. And I suppose,
right.
Given the fact that of the lead time that goes into it, you look at that. I think was it the sponsor when they're on about we need a sponsor and stuff. Because if you actually look at it, the photos that were taken for the shirt sponsor, the shirt sponsor wasn't on there.
Yeah, they had
it was just a kid. They then
didn't they?
Exactly at a later date. But it's great when you look at all these things and that, and it's like when you look at it, and as people said, the lead time for the designs in that. This was probably, they were talking about probably February time in terms of the lead times of getting the designs finalized and then over to them and that. So yeah, it was great to see. I also thought it was great to see Amanda getting pissed off.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
Like, what, Amanda?
I'm looking forward to seeing what Adidas comes up with anyway. I mean, I agree that the Castor designs, especially this season, but generally,
If they
have
don't
been
do
class.
if they don't do a blue and burgundy
I know
away kit for their
The-
first season back, then
the old Newcastle West End colours, yeah.
exactly.
But
Whatever they bring out, I'm going to buy it. But
well, I'm still excited to see what they come up with. Like I was saying, the Castor designs for me I agree, have been absolutely brilliant. But like, you can't tell me Adidas can't come up.
Here's
with
the
good
question:
designs too.
can we now go back to Newcastle Brown Ale and see if we can get them as the sponsor for next season as well?
That's probably not good commercially.
Yeah, I don't think they've got as much money as Seller. Although they're owned by Heineken, aren't they? So yeah.
well, Seller have chipped in 25 mil. I think Newcastle Brown Ale put in
I've got a feeling. I think Seller
120,000.
probably contributed to those flamethrowers at the side of the pitch.
I hate those so bad.
Oh no,
I don't
they
know.
were great, but in the Villa game, it was a warm enough day already. Even though I was still quite far, I could still feel heat. I'm going, Christ,
you could feel it. Yeah, you could feel it. You could.
And I'm like,
someone's gonna lose their eyebrows. I'm telling you, man. Honestly, it's like
I ain't got much eyebrows to lose either.
Yeah,
like,
but come on, in the winter though, you
Jesus.
imagine you're just going to be there with your hands out. Ooh, like nice and
bloody-
toasty. Hang on, get a couple of marshmallows.
That'd be
you'd
lovely in
annoyed
the
they're not
winter.
keeping them on all
Yeah.
game.
I just
know.
hope they don't start with gold music because then I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Pardon.
that, for me. It is tin pot club shit. Like, we don't need this to build an atmosphere.
No,
We've
but
already
one
got a
thing
class
I'm going to say,
atmosphere.
what I'd love to see for the first Champions League game is a Cellar drones show.
Oh yeah.
No, do you know like what Chelsea did when they won it and they had like the Champions League trophy? Have like the Champions League trophy as a drone hovering above St James's Park. Come on, let's make it special, man.
When is the Champions League draw?
31st of August.
No, it can't be because it's like
so next Thursday, which I also believe is that not deadline day.
Yep.
right.
Also my
So-
birthday. It's a lot going
So then
on.
we'll know whether the first game's a home draw game or an away draw game.
Not necessarily.
And-
We'll know who we're facing, but it might. I don't necessarily think the home and away games are done straight away. I think there's like work's done on those fixtures.
So you just get the draw.
Yeah. Now, what that probably means is we may forego, just when I look at it, we may actually forego the Terrace talk for next week, and we may do a Champions League draw live show.
Special.
Live show, yes. Yeah, let's do a live show. 100%. Let's do a live show.
Saying that though, whether or not we do or we don't, because we know how long it takes them to do the Champions League draws.
Oh god, I know.
Well,
Yeah,
not
true.
that, but like no, it'd be good to do a live draw show. But like, if we imagine if we get Barcelona, like fuck me, imagine if we get Barcelona.
God, I would love to beat them. I fucking hate Barcelona.
Oh, I'd love to fucking
Especially
go.
with the Tino in my team.
Well, aren't Barca not playing at the new camp this season though?
No,
They're
playing
not,
at
no.
the,
No, so they've gone from 110,000 to 25,000.
Is it not the old Olympic Stadium in Barcelona?
Could well
That
be.
look, I've been there and it looks like a shithole. So I think they're probably going to play at Espanyol if they can.
No, I don't think Espanyol. No,
They don't get on.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely to be the old Olympic Stadium. I think that's
So
probably.
it will go from 110,000 down to 20,000. So you
No,
got
I
no
think it's
chance
like
to get
47.
this.
I think the stadium at the
No
right, I think
chance.
it's 47,000.
But I think we should just go anyway, with or without tickets, and just enjoy being in Barcelona watching the game.
You've said that, and as we've said, if you want to pay, then that's fine.
All right, who wants to come?
Well, I'm actually seriously considering. It depends who we get drawn against. Like, I'm not that fussed about going to Barcelona per se, but if we got drawn against, say, Dortmund, I would absolutely love that.
Dortmund would be class. I think we should just go to Paris just for a nice little trip to Paris. Yeah, it's
You coming,
Neymar
Max?
and Messi less.
I can't stand Paris.
You
I know,
coming,
but we
Max,
can just
or
be
what?
annoying, can't we?
We'll fit right in. Everything about that city's annoying.
Max, you coming?
To where? Barcelona?
Wherever in Europe.
Well,
Which
to be
Swedish
fair,
which
we
Swedish
do-
teams qualified? Is it
No one.
Gothenburg?
Everyone.
None.
Everyone got eliminated.
Did
To be
Gothenburg not
fair,
get in? God
do we not need either Athletic or Real Madrid so we can at least make sense of the Anthony Gordon song?
Yeah.
damn it. Atletico would be class, actually.
Yeah, that would be.
Mainly for the presumed bromance between Simeone and Howe, more than anything.
Yeah. I also think Real might, because I actually think they might be not a bad side to face this season in the Champions League.
Depends. They've got a really awesome young midfield coming together. But then
Yeah,
again,
I
they're going to have Kepa in goal, and he is dog shit. So
And they've got a couple of injuries.
shots on
I think
target,
it'd be-
lads. That's all it is.
I think it would be dead lucky to get out of the group. So I would just love an absolute 3-game party home and away.
What about
Enjoy it
Celtic?
for what it is.
Like an away day at Celtic, I think.
No, fuck
To be
that.
fair-
No, I want
I
Barcelona.
know, but at least,
Real Madrid.
yeah, but at least if we're going, I know, but if we're going to Glasgow, we won. Yeah, we know that we've got at least opposition fans that are probably as much up for a fight
Next
as
stop
we
on
are.
the train.
Yeah, so there's that aspect of it. 2, we can both drink each other under the table. Yeah, so we've got that benefit. Yeah, and 3, we don't need a passport.
Yeah.
No,
my
I'm
take on it
thinking-
is I'm thinking differently about this to most fans. I think I want the easiest draw possible because at the end of the day, right, you get the easiest draw possible, you make it out of the group. Guess what? You're going to play one of the big lads anyway. So
Yeah.
that's the way I'm looking at it. That's the way I'm looking
Or
at it.
we'll finish third, we'll drop into the Europa League, we'll win that, and then we're back in the Champions League regardless, and we've won silverware. But hey,
But I was also thinking just beautiful away games like Dortmund, Madrid, Seville. Like, how nice would that be? Like, whether
Milan.
we finish bottom
and
or top.
then we really
doesn't
can't see if
matter,
there's a
like-
Macam in Milan.
Yeah,
I've been a few times, but there isn't.
I just think that we're
Same.
lucky to be here at the minute at this point of the process, and I don't think we'll be in the Champions League next season. So for me, I want to
Oh.
enjoy.
Wash your mouth out.
I don't think we'll be there next season. I don't think we'll
Well-
be there in the Champions League next.
What? So do you think
We will
Liverpool
see.
are better than us?
I don't think they're better than us. I just think they.
Right. So there we go. Do you think Man U are better than us?
No.
No. Right. Do you think Spurs are better than us?
No.
Right.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we'll go to the next one. Do you think Villa are better than us?
No.
Of
Right,
course
and
not.
then-
No. I
Finally,
don't.
do you think Chelsea are better than us?
Definitely not.
Right. Well, there you go then.
On their day.
Man City,
Yeah,
Arsenal,
yeah.
Newcastle. Then, and that if that's what we're looking at, it's Man
Yeah.
City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Brighton. That's really what you're looking at if we're going to be looking at top.
Brighton
four.
are not going to get Champions League. No way.
Yeah,
no
Brighton
way.
now they're sitting top of the league at the minute.
Well, they faced Luton
Yeah.
and Wolves are both going down, so
Exactly. Yeah. Well done, Max. Thank you.
Have we as the actual teams been finalised? All the playoffs are done now, aren't they, for the Champions League?
No, there's actually no, because
Oh.
there's games going on now. Rangers v PSV is happening right now.
Oh right,
Yeah.
okay. I was literally
Yeah.
just trying to look
Oh,
and
is it?
see which teams I'd want to go to the most. Hey, Union Berlin could be a good one. Berlin's a
No, I
great
think
city.
I think they're in pot 4. I think they'll probably be in pot 4, the same as us. So that's
damn, that's a shame.
right.
When
For the Champions
you-
League qualifiers, Royal Antwerp or AEK Athens.
Oof.
Right, Antwerp's
Greece,
probably not
then.
going to be a bad one, you know.
Yeah,
Greece.
Well, they'll probably be pot 4. Rangers or PSV. Well, we'll just go now on the ferry.
PSV. I don't want Rangers. I don't want any UK clubs. They can.
Yeah,
fuck
but we'll go
right
to
off.
PSV. We'll get the duff dust to Amsterdam and then get the train to Eindhoven.
I mean, my dream would have been because it's my favorite country in the world would have been to go to Iceland,
Sweden.
but
Oh.
unfortunately, unfortunately, Breithable got knocked out in the preliminary round. So.
And then the next game for the games tomorrow are Maccabi Haifa versus Young Boys.
Jesus, West.
So Israel and
Um,
Switzerland.
Molde
yeah.
versus Galatasaray.
Norway. Don't want to go to Norway.
I don't know. I've heard it's better than Sweden.
Well, that's a lie.
And then Sporting Braga versus Panathinaikos.
Portugal
Some
and
shit
Greece.
teams
That's
in there,
nice.
mind.
Yeah,
Isn't Braga
nice countries though.
I'm thinking,
Yeah,
well,
oh, yeah,
Portugal, yeah. Isn't
Port-
Braga the side that have their stadium like built into a mountain?
Ooh,
Maybe.
I'm googling that right now because if so, that is cool.
I'm sure.
Yes, you're right, Mark. You're right.
Yeah, and it looks a class stadium. Like when you look at it's just
looks,
like I think two sides, but it looks.
Yeah, it looks bizarre, but in like the best way. I really quite like that.
Exactly it. Yeah, but it is those, yeah. And then tomorrow even better. Hibernian versus Villa. Hey. Anyone fancy a trip up to Hibs to go and support the Hibs?
No.
We hate you, Villa. We too.
Can you imagine how much of an arseache it would be to get to Braga, though? It's in the middle of like nowhere, Portugal. It's like northern Portugal. Like God knows how on earth you get there. Fly to Lisbon and then hitchhike, I imagine.
But yeah, there's option. Well, Porto, that's an option if we're thinking about that.
Yeah, Porto is supposed to be a lovely city. But,
it is, yeah.
Sir Bobby Robson land. Also.
Yeah. I just,
well,
I really hope we don't get Napoli though, because that could be a bit. Fans are a bit mental, aren't they? Could be a bit rough.
Can we not do Barca, Sporting? Let's see if they get it PSV, and then we can just it can just be like the Bobby Robson group.
Oh yeah.
I'd fancy with to beat Barca. Barca are shite.
Oh, be careful.
I'd like to go though. I'd like to go.
Not scared of them. Shite.
Yeah. I'd like to go.
I'm absolutely loving the downfall of Barca. It's brilliant.
They won the league last year.
But
only because it's one of two, isn't it? And one of them just sacks it off basically and doesn't really give a shit.
Yeah, like 4 years ago, before Newcastle were epic, I was probably as much of a Barcelona fan as I am a Newcastle fan. So I used to go to Alicante and stuff like that. I used to buy the shirts. Used to go I loved it. But since the last 5 years, when Newcastle, I was like, that's it. I'm only ever buying Newcastle training kit, home tops, away tops, everything. Yeah.
Where's all your Barca stuff? Is it in the basement or something?
Oh, Max, I've got a really good story that I've not told you. Have I told you this story?
I don't think so.
So you know Ronaldo R9, like the proper Ronaldo.
The proper one.
He used to wear
the true gold.
This Kappa long sleeve Barca shirt with no Kappa long sleeve. Newcastle drew Barcelona in Champions League, and I had this Kappa long sleeve Barcelona shirt, and it was about 85 quid in 1998. And I had the classic Newcastle Brownell Adidas Les Ferdinand Alan Shearer shirt, right? And I was going to St James's Park to watch Newcastle Barcelona in the Champions League. And in my wisdom, what I thought I would do is I'd cut the two shirts in half.
Oh no!
Cut them in half and sew them together and wear the two shirts, one half Barcelona with a long sleeve and one half Newcastle with a short sleeve. And
right,
that's an expensive error.
This is I've got
so that Barcelona shirt is £300.
Yeah, I would just
right. These are the pots so far. In pot one
on eBay.
Zip it dumpling.
No, that was that was painful.
The pots for the Champions League so far in pot one: Man City, Sevilla, Barcelona, Napoli, Bayern Munich, PSG, Benfica, and Feyenoord.
Feyenoord, please. Or Benfica,
No,
yeah.
We don't want any Italian teams because it's fucking dangerous going out.
Please not Man City. That's all I'm asking for.
So someone said Benfica and Feyenoord, and you went, no. Just
no Italian
whether or not
teams.
you know this. Don't Benfica's not in Italy.
No, that's fine.
No, I know that. I want Benfica. I don't want Italian teams, and obviously we can't draw British teams. But I don't.
Right.
I don't want
Well,
to
then
go.
we'll move
I just want the easiest team in every pot. Bring on
In
Bayern.
pot two, it's Real Madrid,
No.
Man U,
No, we can't go.
Inter Milan. Now, bear in
Beat
mind, we
them.
can't fit from the same country anyway, so Man U wouldn't be in there. Borussia Dortmund,
That'd be cool.
Atletico Madrid,
That'd
RB
be cool
also.
Leipzig, Porto,
That'd be cool.
or
Yeah, that'd be
Arsenal.
cool. Ah, fuck Arsenal.
Leipzig or Porto, I think, for me.
Pot
Yeah.
3, Shakhtar Donetsk.
How can you play
South-
them? Where
I
the
think
fuck
they
do
play. I think they play in Poland at the
They
moment.
do, yeah. Salzburg,
Right.
Is that allowed?
AC Milan, Lazio, Red Star
No.
Belgrade.
No.
Now, Real Sociedad and Celtic have got stars next to them, which I think is because although they're assigned in pot 3 at the moment,
What's that?
they could go into pot 4 depending
have-
on the outcomes of the
Yeah.
other games in the playoffs. Newcastle
what's the
isn't
third-
showing in pot 4, so that could still mean that Newcastle United, depending on how results go in these Champions League playoffs, could still find themselves in pot 3.
What was
But it's
those-
likely
what's
that
that-
they'll be in pot 4. The only confirmed teams in pot 4 at the minute are Union Berlin and Lens.
What was the third from last? What was those terrible teams that you read out there?
It was
Red Star Belgrade.
Red Star Belgrade,
Red
Real
Star.
Sociedad, and Celtic.
I think
To be fair-
Salzburg or Celtic would be my choice.
Sociedad is
But Real
San
Sociedad
Sebastian.
aren't exactly.
Sociedad's
Yeah.
fine.
Sociedad
Lazio?
aren't
Did you
great
say
shapes.
Lazio?
It can be an Isak reunion.
Yeah.
It's a nice
Yeah.
city also.
So yeah, so we're going. What was it? Real Sociedad, RB Leipzig, and Feyenoord. Then
That'd be we get out of that group, how man? We beat
Leipzig
all
is
three. We beat all three of them at home.
to be fair, Leipzig are decent to beat. That.
Oh, Leipzig are good, but like how we're fucking class.
Not as good as Newcastle.
So we're going
Yeah,
Porto
yeah.
instead then. Feyenoord, Porto, and
I'm
Real
thinking about
Sociedad.
holidays, Mark. I'm thinking about holidays, not but
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Well-
Feyenoord. We can just get the duff.
Do holidays on your
It's
own time.
landlocked.
Do
It's
all the things on your own
landlocked.
time. We've got football games to win.
What do you mean? What's landlocked?
I want the coast. I don't want a landlocked country, you idiot. I want
Wait. Can we just rewind?
Ocean.
How's Holland landlocked? You get a ferry across to it.
not in Feyenoord though. No, Porto,
Porto's not landlocked.
Barcelona.
So sunny, good
Hang on.
weather.
Can we just rewind? Is Porto on the coast? Can we just clarify that?
I think so.
No.
I believe it is.
Well, if
Yeah,
it's not,
fair enough.
it's only about half-hour drive. But either way,
Yeah.
Madrid can go fuck themselves. They're completely landlocked. We're not going.
Oh yeah. They're, you couldn't
Andy
get
Gordon's gonna be
40%
upset.
in Spain if you tried. Yeah. Porto. Let's have a look. Yes, Porto is indeed on the coast. You're absolutely fine. And if that wasn't enough, it's also got a river running through it. So basically,
This is like the chaser. This is great.
Well,
I'm
Next
sure
answer.
Feyenoord has a river running to it somewhere.
well, let me tell you, Mark, I've got Google Maps and I'm not afraid to use it.
What's the river called and how old is it? Mark.
So Feyenoord is basically in Rotterdam, and unsurprisingly,
And how old is Rotterdam?
there's a
What
fuckload of
year
rivers running
was
through it.
founded? I'm going 1282.
But hang on. In that case, no, we need to go to Rotterdam because it could be Liverpool, not Rotterdam. Newcastle's in the Champions League. The map can stay at home. See, it's in the song. We've got to go to Rotterdam. Plus, we've got history with Feyenoord, haven't we?
Yes, we do.
Mr.
trying to
Bellamy.
think.
Well,
Oh,
Feyenoord. I actually quite like
Rotterdam's
Feyenoord's
history
team.
goes back to 1270, by the way. 1270.
What did I say?
I'm sure you said
12.
12 something, but
1292.
I just
Yeah,
remember
so-
they got bombed the shit out of the Nazis. So that's all.
Hang on, what was that? What did you just say?
I just
Have you
remember from some
Mark,
war
have you got-
documentary.
Have you got a dump button, Mark? Can we dump that? Max, stop talking. Dump that.
No, I'm just clarifying what you
Well,
said.
it's
because
true. It happened.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, this sounds like a perfect way to end this show. Yeah, we'll probably be back at some point.
Lads, that's been a weird show. I'm not going to lie. I can't help but feel like I might be the chaos agent in the group. I do apologize.
If we
That's
don't win the
stupid.
Sony Award for this, I will be pissed off.
I mean, we
But no,
started
but-
talking
but-
about pillows, so
Yeah, we're starting the show ending with pillows and Max ended it starting with voting. Yeah, so we're right in the
Pillows
end.
to
We'll
Nazis.
just do that. But yeah, we'll be back either Friday or Saturday with the pre-match
Preview.
review,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it,
Liverpool game. Love it.
for the Liverpool game. So we'll say good night. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
See you later.